This is a Biology 1440 video on graphing with a scatter plot. And what we have set up here is a data collection table. You can download this table from the website and follow along. We have our independent variable, which is ethanol concentration. We have our dependent variable, which is beta-cyanin concentration. And we have 3 replications. So for 0% ethanol, we have 3 replications. For 10%, we also have 3 replications, so on and so forth. The first thing I like to do when I'm going to make a graph is copy and paste my independent variable at the end of the data. And then in the next column, I'll type in average. The reason I do that is that it makes it easier to graph later. Then we need to find the average for each of these ethanol concentrations. So we need the average of these replications. So I put an equal sign in. That tells Excel we're going to enter a formula. I type the word average. I open a parenthesis. I use my mouse to highlight the 3 numbers that I want the average for. I close the parenthesis and I hit enter. And that gives me my average. I can do the same thing for the next one. Equals average, open parenthesis, highlight the 3 numbers, close parenthesis, enter. I could do that for every one of these, but I could also just copy and paste. I'm going to use Control C. You could also copy from the menu above, but I go Control, paste, 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 and paste. Okay, so when I copy a formula, it does not copy the raw number, in this case 4.1. Instead, it copied the formula I entered into that cell and pasted it into the cells below. So now I have my averages. I need to do a couple more things to get my error bars now. I'm going to calculate standard deviation, and I'm going to calculate standard error using my standard deviation. Now to calculate standard deviation, I'm going to put in another equal sign. I'm going to type in stdiva, standard deviation. I'm going to open a parenthesis, highlight the same 3 numbers I did for my average, and close my parenthesis. Once again, equals stdiva, that's the abbreviation for standard deviation. Open a parenthesis, highlight, close my parentheses, enter. Or at this point I could copy and paste that formula into the cells below. Now for standard error, I need to use a formula that's not built into Excel, but it's very simple. I put in an equal sign, I click on standard deviation, divided by, and now I type SQRT, which is square root, open a parenthesis, and now I put my sample size. And because each of our averages is the average of 3 numbers, I put 3 in there. So the formula for this error bar, the standard error, is standard deviation divided by the square root of the sample size. Enter. Let's do that one more time. Equals standard deviation, I just click on it, divided by the square root of the sample size, which are 3 samples. And once again, I could, instead of typing it over and over again, copy and paste the formula. Okay, now all we have to do is graph. So I'm going to highlight these 2 columns, ethanol concentration and my average beta-cyanin leakage, essentially. And I'm going to go to Insert, and I need to click on Scatter Plots here. I'm going to click on this scatter plot, the very first one, and there it is. First thing you need to do is delete this title. You don't want it. The next thing we'll do is go ahead and add our error bars. And in this version of Excel, there's a plus sign right here. If I click that, I can see error bars as an option. I'll go ahead and check that box, and I'll click this drop down arrow to get more options, and I go down to more options. Do not click standard deviation or error there. You always go to more options. Okay, now we have more options, and we go all the way to the bottom again, and we go to custom. Now notice that it starts off by highlighting the lateral error bars. You can see they're all highlighted. Right now is a really good time to hit delete and make them go away. Okay, we don't want those error bars. So I deleted those, so I'm going to start over with my error bars. I'm going to hit plus again and go to error bars and more options again and custom. But now we don't have those lateral error bars to worry about. We do not want those on our graph. Now we click on specify value. Okay, we have two boxes, positive error bar value and negative error bar value. Select the box next to positive error bar value and highlight every one of your standard errors. Then click this box again. Do the same thing for negative error bar values. Highlight the exact same numbers and click OK. And there your error bars have been created. We can then close out the error bar format box here. Click the plus sign again, and we need to add in axis titles. Okay, so it's done that for us. We can type in our axis titles, so we could type in ethanol here, and we need to put a unit. I'll put that in parentheses, ethanol, and it's in percent. And then axis title here would be, oh, let me go ahead and put in, alright, so beta cyanin concentration, and this is going to be in micromolar concentration, so I need to go to insert symbol, and I need to insert this micro symbol here, this ooh, okay, micromolar. And let's go ahead and put that in parentheses as well. That's our unit. Okay, now we have a graph ready to be copied. I just select the graph and copy it, and I can paste it into Word and type in a figure caption. So that is how you create a graph in Excel 2013.